last session, the legislature, House Bill 2899, was not even a request bill, just a bill these guys made up out of their brains to try and deal with the 6,000 adults that are on the list to receive services for developmental and profound disabilities. So Oklahoma, for many years, has maintained a gargantuan list. I think at one point it was pushing 10,000. They've gotten it down a little bit in recent years. But they have a massive list of thousands of people, some of whom have been waiting 13 years to get services for their profound disability. And the Oklahoma legislature, in their infinite wisdom, passed a bill and signed it by the governor. And this bill popped up like it was one of these last minute deals where they shoved it in near the back end of session that would make anyone who moved here have to wait 5 years before they could apply for services. And their argument,
people to our state.
Yeah, seriously, if you're talented but you have somebody disabled in your family, don't come here because we will literally just make you wait for no fucking reason. But I mean, their logic was just so asinine on its face. It was like, well, if we clear the list and we don't do this, everybody's gonna move to Oklahoma for our free services. So checkmate, moochers. It's like, I mean, the other thing is to think about who this population is. I mean, this is literally people who are profoundly disabled, probably most of it from birth or from a massively severe accident that has left them with lifelong medical complications. I mean, it's nobody fucking picked this, dude. They're just trying to fucking survive. I'm sure their life expectancy is 20 years, 30 years less than the average person. They're just trying to live in some dignity while they're on this planet. And you guys are going to make them wait 13 years to get basic state services. I mean, it's the stupidest argument on its face, and it doesn't do anything to fix the problem. You're just making the new people wait even longer. I mean, are they jumping the line? Is that, I mean, it's such a crazy solution in search of a problem, as opposed to doing the semi-rational thing, which is taking the list of 6,000, figuring out how much it costs to fix it, and just fucking doing it.
Again, going back to the we feed each other, all of us will agree. 6,000 people with severe disabilities on a waiting list is bad. You listen, I think that'll poll pretty well. On both on both sides, that'll other than the ghouls, that'll poll pretty well. So the question becomes, we both agree with that. Now, how do we fix it? That's where we get to the feeding each other. You could just invest an adequate amount of resources into making sure these individuals get what they need, and then walking away. Yeah. In this notion of people coming, this getting out that Oklahoma no longer has a waiting list. And I don't know I hope other states don't fucking have huge waiting lists for these people. This notion that Oklahoma cleared its waiting list. And so they're similar to the gold rush. It's I'm going to pick up my severely disabled family member and move them across this country with no regard to my job, their doctor, their care, my care.
Yeah. But this brain poison is in liberals too. I literally sat in a meeting with nonprofit people and it was somebody was giving a presentation. It was to a bunch of nonprofits. They were giving a presentation on children with disabilities of some sort, and they're literal from the pulpit of this presentation said, if you have a child with autism or something, or it was profound autism, you should move to Massachusetts. Because Oklahoma is never going to help you. And I just sat there how the fuck is that going to work? I mean, you're basically just saying throw in the towel and fuck these people. Because I mean, it's nobody is going to do that. I mean, one, Massachusetts, I mean, if you're coming from Oklahoma, very expensive to live in. But two, it's I don't know anybody in Massachusetts. My brother lived there for 20 years and I still didn't have any reason or ability to just up and move to Massachusetts. I mean, it's just the craziest logic.
How do you feel about Boston? It's not the answer to my kid has severe disabilities. But I want to make this point too.
Sure, go.
It was found unconstitutional and I am not a constitutional scholar, but to find out that was unconstitutional, 30 minutes from any legislative aid with above a ninth grade reading level. Like we like the fact that you would treat people coming in, you have it like that's like literal like day one constitutional law shit. Like it's just like I'm just like I didn't even know that bill passed, but if I saw it, I'd have been like, you know, this is unconstitutional, right? Like 30 minutes legislative aid. Like, yeah. Come on, fam, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
Oh, and Mark Lawson's still in my mentions, like defending it, being like, well, CMS, you know, isn't a court, you know, like they can't declare something unconstitutional. I mean, it's like, okay, fine, buddy. Like, let's run it through the courts. And then when they declare it unconstitutional.
Oklahoma won't get enough of playing with these governmental agencies in the courts. Listen, as the city, Oklahoma City, that shit does not work out well when you got 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million in legal fees. And let me tell you something, as a lawyer, we coming to get our shit one way or another. But anyway, why, you know, the answer to, I'd like to know how, or I just would like them to pay a political price for this, right? Like, I think it's like the answer to severely ill or, you know, severely disabled, I say not ill, severely disabled adults who need services and care is to, if you come here, we can't help you. Again, and we continue to get to this today. Is that how fucked we are as sesociety? I assume it's not. And for people who think that way, we should make them pay a political price. No? Like that was your fix. It was like, well, if you come here and you're severely disabled, you just fuck for a few years. Like, that is not policy. That is not something that you should be able to just pass in the dead of night. Like, oh, when it gets declared unconstitutional. To be running fucking commercials every day, it's like, this guy fucking hates severely disabled people. Like, that's just, what gets him up every morning is screwing over the severely disabled. That was his contribution.
Oh, and what's insane is, I mean, guys like in my mentions, like he's very defensive about this, by the way. But he's, you know, like saying, like, he's gonna clear it next year. Like, that's his thing. Like, it's quoted in the article here. Like, Mark Lawson out of Sapulpa is gonna clear it next year. To which I reply, good. I mean, great. Just, I mean, why didn't you just do it this year? Like, instead of run this bill, crazy idea. Why don't you just clear the list this year? Or last year when you had supermajorities in both houses in every statewide elected office. Or maybe the year before that when you had supermajorities in both houses in every statewide elected office. Or the year before that. I mean, like, I don't get, like, I don't get the blind spot of, like, running this bill, which on its face is awful, stupid, doesn't do anything, and then just being like, I'm gonna fix it. I mean, like, okay, fine, just fix it. Just fix it without all this other stuff. Thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram.